morning, and welcome to another episode of Old Men in Chairs. I've been at this about a year now, and we've been using the theme song Old and in the Way by the group Old and in the Way. And I thought, well, maybe people would like to hear the rest of the song, and I can do a little reaction to it. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a live version of the original band, which was founded by Jerry Garcia of the Grateful Dead. He unfortunately passed away in 1995, but this video here, 2003, was kind of a reunion. It was called Old and in the Gray. 3 of the original members are there. Unfortunately, the bass player also had passed by this time. On your screen there, you can see David Grisman to the left with the mandolin. I'm sorry, I don't know the fellow who's sitting in on banjo. That would have been, Jerry's spot. In the middle there with the suit, Peter Rowan. And on the far right is your fiddle player, Vassar Clemens. These guys were superstars. In fact, this was considered to be a supergroup bluegrass, because most of those 3 fellows that I mentioned had played Bill Monroe, Earl Scruggs, other legends in bluegrass, and had been studio musicians on many other bluegrass and played in other groups, had long careers. A couple of them are still performing. Unfortunately, Vassar Clemens has also passed away now. This was considered one of the best bluegrass groups that ever existed. They only played for a couple of years in the mid-70s and then moved on to other projects, but their album, Old and in the Way, is definitely considered one of the greatest bluegrass albums of all time. So if you like bluegrass, you owe it to yourself to check that out. Peter is now going to introduce the group here before they start the song.
When we started picking, we had a banjo picker in the band. He was kind of a smart guy. He had nicknames for everybody. He called John Kahn, our bass player, he called him Mule. John called his bass Mule. And he called this man over here on the fiddle, they called him Clem. Or Clamp. They called me Panama, for Panama Red. And we called him Spud. Jerry Spud Boy Garcia. And he invented a name for the band. And he looked at us, this man here, and he called this man Dog.
Thank you, Jerry, for all of it.
And David wrote this tune here, Old and in the Way.
Yesterday, golden dirty gray, and youth will fade away. They'll never care about you, all you old and in the way.
And that's about as much of the song as you hear in our intro, first 20-30 seconds, and outro. But now you're going to hear the verse sung by David. There's 2 verses, actually. Acoustics on this particular recording are not 100%. And David's voice is a little bit hard to hear, so I hope you can pick out the lyrics. They mentioned Jerry there as the founder of the group. Actually, banjo was the first instrument that Jerry learned to play at about 7 years old. And then before the Grateful Dead formed, he had a bluegrass band in the early 60s for a couple of years. So bluegrass was really one of his great loves. That's why he needed this outlet to play it.
When just a boy he left his home, well, he thought he'd have the world on a string. Now the years have come and gone like a flute on the lawn. Looking back to a better day, feeling old and in the way.
Old and in the way, that's what I heard them say. They used to heed the words he said, but that was yesterday. Golden dirty gray, and youth will fade away. They'll never care about you, all you old and in the way.
solo there by Clem, otherwise known as Vassar Clemens. And that kind of sound is why he was so highly sought as a session musician and to play with other groups in a long, long career. Beautiful.
Once I hear tell he was happy. Well, he had his share of friends and good times. Now the friends have all gone on. He don't have a place called home. Like an old dog gone astray, he's just holding in the way.
Just like an old dog, he's holding in the way. David Grisman there took that name, Dog, that he was given by Jerry, and developed a whole style of music that he called dog music, or I forget exactly, dog jazz, kind of a fusion music that he's still playing to this day. Unfortunately, that was the only line that he stepped up to the microphone and really belted. But
gone astray, he's just holding in the way. Holding in the way, that's what I heard them say. They used to hear the words he said, but that was yesterday.
mandolin solo by David. By the way, David actually sued YouTube in the early years of YouTube because he didn't like people playing his music without permission. But they have not filed a copyright claim for us using a small part of this song as our theme song. And hopefully we will be able to show this whole performance as well. We appreciate you guys letting us do that. And we appreciate very much the beautiful music that you've made. One more time with the chorus.
In the way, that's what I heard them say. They used to hear the words he said, but that was yesterday. Gold will turn to gray, and you will fade away. They'll never care about you, all you're living in the way. They'll never care about you, all you're living in the way.
Very nice. I don't know who the bass player lady is either. I think it's valuable to see this performed live. The complexity of the music, with all the instruments kind of playing at once there. You can hear it, on the audio, but to actually see it, how it's done. So again, thank you guys for beautiful music, and we'll keep it alive as long as we can.
What I heard them say, they used to hear the